Okay, hello. This is Ernesto, the End Times writer, coming at you again. This time I'm going to get more political on this, not so much on the Bible and prophecy and things, but it's important because this is about the imminent arrest of Donald Trump. And let me explain what's going on because I know the average person doesn't know everything, just what their general things they're hearing. Basically, in the state of New York, they had a grand jury investigation. Donald Trump was brought in for his statements, and he declined to really took the Fifth Amendment, which is his right to not not to perjure himself. But this has to do with Stormy Daniels, a woman that was paid $130,000 an agreement with her and Trump's camp about alleged relationship with Trump and her, whatever happened, 14 years ago or so, and this money was supposedly paid like a couple years before Trump was running for president. Um, what it comes down to is this, folks, that we have to understand is that then there's if there's an indictment, it's been sealed. We don't know exactly 100% what they're charging the president for, but if you look at the scope of what they've been doing, it doesn't look like they got a really good case. It doesn't look. It looks more political. The same old thing that they try to get Trump with some things, and I'll tell you as quick as I can what it is. So basically, it involves the money, hush money, but giving that money was not illegal in itself. That's not illegal. Now, what they're saying is it was a misappropriated money, or that Trump later on they considered that money that was given to Stormy Daniels as a political expense, and that's where they're saying he violated the law. But let's say he did violate the law on that. Okay, just to say he did, that would be a misdemeanor at the most. A misdemeanor, they just give you a fine. There's no um, arrest. There's no prison time or nothing. So what happened is New York, uh, the, I guess the attorney general there, they bumped this up to from a misdemeanor to a felony. Well, which is really strange because on the federal level, the federal Department of Justice dropped the similar case like this against Trump, and they dropped it because they didn't have enough withal withal to get the case done. They dropped the same kind of thing. So now New York's going to try to indict, or it seems like Trump on something that even the feds didn't do. So they're going to try him for a similar uh, offense of what they're considering a felony. And what's a big problem with this is the whole thing that what we're seeing is that they convened the grand jury. The best I can find, all looking all over the internet about this, is the biggest thing is they're saying that Trump interfered with the election, and by paying this money, it was an interference of an election, which is really stretching things because there's no clear law that when this money was transferred to this Stormy Daniels, um, she's not a political candidate. It's not. It was a personal thing, and they're trying to stretch this into that. He tried to rig the election or something, which is stupid. Now, if that's the main case, because like I said, the indictment's sealed. We don't know 100% what they're saying, but if this is what it has to do with, they're going to run into big problems. Let's say they do arrest Trump. Let's say that he goes to trial. Well, remember, grand jury's just been told what one side of the story, basically, of why they think Trump did wrong. But in a trial, you're going to have other side bring in and show you what the laws really state that they're leaving out in this case. And then if they have any witnesses, they'll bring those too. But the big problem is right away, this kind of statute of limitations has run out 2 years. It's only 2 years for what they're trying to do as far as the money thing and the campaign thing. It's 2 years of statute of limitations, which is already over. And from what I read, you can only extend it to 5 years if you link that to a felony or another crime. So that's probably why they bumped this up to a felony because they want to still keep their case alive, but it's very weak, folks. Everything against Trump has been weak because they basically make up the most of it. The small kernel here of truth, perhaps, is there was a payoff to Stormy Daniels, but that's not really a big old thing, and that's they're trying to make it. But do you realize how foolish this is? If you try to say that because you paid somebody, it was $130,000 was what's involved. Let's say, okay, you paid that amount of money to somebody because you didn't want them to. You had an arrangement so they wouldn't say anything, and I guess they agreed to it if they received the money. Then you're trying to say, but that was election interference, really? So if I have a bumper sticker on my car for a political candidate or a political party, is that election interference because I'm trying to influence somebody? No, because the biggest thing is, to be a felony, just offhand, it's usually a financial amount of money involved bumps something up to a felony. So the 130,000, I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing that's why maybe they're bumping up to a felony, saying this amount of money makes it a felony. Okay, well let me give you an analogy here how stupid I think this is. So any politician, and that could include Obama, Hillary, who ran for office, um, other Republicans who ran for office, Romney, anybody besides Trump, if they paid people for political ads on the radio, on TV, and they paid actors to be in these commercials, and the amount of money they spent on these commercials to show them in different parts of the country was $130,000 plus, then does that mean they've committed an illegal influencing of an election because they try to get people to change their mind? How different is that? That'd be stupid. That means if you try to equate what he did with a personal thing with Stormy Daniels to the political messing with the election, then what I just said would apply. Every single person now needs to be prosecuted to committed a felony because they try to influence an election with ads by paying people money. You see, that's dumb. That's how I see it. Let's put it on an even playing field, and then there's two prosecutors from the state of New York. While this was in the early stages of this investigation on Trump and grand jury, they quit and protested the attorney general because at that time they said, well, we're not, at this time we're not going to go with an indictment after Trump. So they quit and protest, okay? But to show you how so-called fair-minded some of these people are in New York, these attorneys working for the New York prosecution, state prosecution, one of them goes and writes a book about Trump saying how he's guilty left and right. Really? That shows you the mindset. A prosecuting attorney goes and writes a book against somebody who's not been indicted, not been tried, but that's more like a gossip. That's more like the stuff, of in the news checkout at the supermarket that you read. That's more like that. That's someone who's a state official, a prosecutor, and go write a book like that. That just shows you, to me, a big old bias, unprofessionalism at the very least. So let's say Trump doesn't get arrested. I think he'll win this case. If this is a jury trial by jury, they'll be presented with the other side, the facts that, hey, this is actually expiration of 2 years on this, and was this really political interference? Where's the statute that says when you settle a personal payment with a person that was not directly for politics, but had to do with her just not talking, yeah, it has secondary effects, maybe affecting the election. Or, well, I don't like that he was with this woman, he's married, whatever, whatever he did in the past. But, no one's a saint in politics, but that's something that they're still trying to hang on to something, that he did. But this is not. It's going to fall apart eventually. Trump can appeal this, and this could theoretically go all the way to the Supreme Court. And you really think they're going to indict a former president for tampering with an election because he paid Stormy Daniels money? Like I said, she's not a politician. There was no direct political agenda there. If anything, he might get his wrist slapped for miscategorizing the payment, which supposedly was later on stated to be a political expense. Like, let's say, but again, the 2 year limitation ran out on that. Although they even didn't get him on that. If anything, that would have been a slap on the wrist, and that's all he would have got. So whatever happens here, the majority of people are still going to back Trump, folks. He's the best candidate who showed with his first 4 years he fulfilled just about every campaign promise he said. No one's done that. You know, he didn't finish the border fence. He said he was going to do it. He started it, and right now the parts of the fence are just lying there. Many hundreds, thousands of parts of the fence, while it's being run over by this administration and all the other stuff that's going on, the child trafficking, women trafficking, the drug fentanyl coming in, epidemic killing our younger people below the age of 40, 30 years old, number one killer. Oh no, but it's open. But anyway, he pretty much, businesses were great. The economy was the best it's probably ever been, ever. Stock market record after stock market record. Look what's happening now. High inflation, gas. Biden closed down federal oil drilling on land that's federal land that Trump had opened up. We became the U.S. world's number one oil producer under Trump, but Biden, for political reasons, stopped that and made our jacked up our oil prices because of that. And then he's begging, is it Iran or one of our political enemies, Iran and Saudi Arabia, begging them to put out more oil when he closed down our oil? Stupidity. It's just outright stupid. He's not putting America first. So I'll just say that it was leaked from the New York attorney's office that supposedly Trump's going to get arrested. That's why Trump came out himself and said yesterday he thinks he was going to be arrested Tuesday. And right now it's Sunday, March 19th right now. So in 2 days, he thinks he's going to get arrested. And if he is, he asked people to protest for him. But you know what? Protesting ain't going to really help him because you guys just let the process go through. And yeah, people will be outraged. But remember, January 6th, the reality is coming out. That was staged by FBI agents, by some of the Capitol Police, taking barriers away, letting people come in, directing people, go over here, it's open. And once they got in, they arrested them. And now they won't even, they're abusing their constitutional rights. They don't want them to come out and have freedom to talk, hardly. You know, they have not been arraigned, gone to court and charged yet. And it's already been over a year, over like 2 years. And they're like, it's in a gulag. The Congress members are trying to get in there to visit these people, and they won't let them get in there. We have a constitutional right to a speedy trial. They're acting like like a long time ago. I went with a church group to TJ prison, and we ministered to people in that prison. I ran into a person from the United States who was in that prison, and he said he'd been there for like several years and he still hadn't even gone to trial. So we're acting like a country like that. It's how we're treating our citizens. Yeah, it's all falling down little by little. You know, you can't escape it. Sooner or later, it's gonna all come out how much staged it is. But right now, those who have the independent media that people listen to, facts, we know what's going on. The mainstream media is still not reporting that. But, you know, Tucker Carlson did a piece on it. That's about the only one that showed how peaceful people were inside. And these were people that were acting to be like Trump supporters on January 6th. Trump supporters do not act violent, folks. I've been a Trump supporter. I've gone to Trump rallies, major ones in my area. I was a member of the Tea Party groups. We went to set a record here in Carson City of the demonstration for a day with a Tea Party that happened then. All these groups are peaceful. We're patriotic. We're not violent, and we usually, if they go to a venue in the public like a park, they leave it cleaner than it was. Pick up trash after themselves. You look at the other side, riots, burning stuff, looting, even killing, and because the mayors in those cities are Democrat, they let them burn and pillage. It's terrible. How can you vote Democrat if you're for law and order? If you want best what's for economy. There's a lady, Black Lives Matter. You're supposed to be helping the Black Lives. They're ruining these neighborhoods where a lot of a good majority of people in some of these cities that are being burned and looted by Black Lives Matter are black people. There was a lady, this black lady was crying because she says, they had to close because they burned down most of this drugstore. She goes, where am I going to go get my medicines now? Where am I? That's all a scam for money, folks. That's what it ultimately was. The people that run this are Marxists. They said so themselves. Marxists hate Christianity. If you're a Christian, you better wake up. These people are just using you. They're buying mansions with the money that they're raising from this. They're giving to liberal causes, including Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood was founded to eradicate blacks. They set up shop in most of the big black cities to kill black babies. They want to reduce, and to this day they still do that. But they're giving money to Black Lives Matter, and then on their website, official website, I went and saw it. I don't know if it's up now, but I read it like so many other people. They were Black Lives Matter was against the nuclear family. That's the traditional family: a father, a mother, and children. That's a nuclear family, or the traditional family. They were against that because they were pushing a radical homosexual agenda. So they didn't believe in a woman and a husband. They wanted a woman and whoever, a man and whoever. And that is one of the biggest things that hurts the black community: the breakdown of the family. That there's a lot of these kids growing up, especially the males. There's no father to spank their butt, to discipline them, to the mothers, some of them can't handle when they get older. And anyways, they're helping break the marriages. They're helping kill fellow black babies. They don't go in those black neighborhoods and try to help the schools get better so the kids will get better grades. They don't try to go stop the violence. They're committing violence in those neighborhoods, not stopping violence. That's all a sham. So anyways, I got off a track of there a little bit, but I think Trump, if he does get arrested, we're going to see that just like everything else that's come against him, people are really stretching and making stuff up, and it's not going to stick in the long run. And there will be a backlash. And the Republicans took the House. They'll probably take the Senate and the presidency next time as well. And then you're going to uncover a lot of stuff that they're blocking. Like Obama blocked Hillary from being prosecuted when she destroyed federal information on her personal phones and computers. They were destroyed with hammers, bleach bit, to try to destroy them. And what did the FBI, I think that investigator said, "Oh, I don't think she did it on purpose," and then they didn't prosecute her. Oh, really? But for us, the average people, if you're driving down the street, let's say you're doing 70 miles an hour and it's only a 25 miles per hour zone, and you tell the cop, "Oh, I didn't realize, I didn't do it on purpose," and the cop goes, "Yeah, he didn't do it on purpose, Your Honor," if he went that far to court. "Oh, yeah, he didn't do it on purpose. We'll let him go." The law is if you break the law, they can prosecute you or you get the results of whatever the consequences are. It doesn't matter if it wasn't intentional or not. That's how the law is. Now they may be lenient like that, but you don't. break federal laws and federal all kinds of secrets you're supposed to be having, and you just use them on your public server, and then you get hacked, which he was hacked. In fact, I think it was hacked by Russia. So I'll just say, folks, this is very shaky ground. This whole case in New York. There was another politician there. I tried to find the name. I couldn't find it. They said like, "We're going to get Trump. I'm going to get him." This was a lady who was a state official there. They have such a bias because they're hardcore leftists there. Most of the government slanted that way. And when the feds dropped, remember, I'm going to remind you again, the federal prosecution, the Department of Justice dropped a similar case against Trump involving Stormy Daniels. These guys are going to try to think that they can pull it through, and they're creating a crime that is not on the books. That's what they're doing. They're creating a crime and hoping it'll stick, hoping they'll find juries that will agree with them. But like I say, eventually this will go. If it goes that far, it'll get appealed all the way to the Supreme Court if it has to. Trump has the money to do that. If that happens, I'm pretty sure that it's going to shoot this down. There's no legs to stand on. It's just more. It is a witch hunt, folks. From the beginning, when Trump came down the escalator, was it Mar-a-Lago where he was? No, Trump Towers. When he came down the escalator, when he had announced he was running for president, the media, one of the main, was it New York Times, somebody like that? They came out the very same day he announced and said, the impeachment begins. He had not even become president. He had just said he's going to run for president. And right away, they want to impeach him. Even though he wasn't even in office, he hadn't done anything. You can only impeach somebody who's been in office, folks. They had it in for him because they knew he was on, think about it. He was a couple years back. He was on Oprah. Are you going to run for office? Are you going to run for president? They're all like hopeful he would because he's been a good businessman overall. Yeah. And they're like, a lot of people liked him. A lot of Hollywood people hung around with him. But as soon as he's like Ronald Reagan. As soon as he started getting more and more conservative, and then he started embracing Christianity and saying he's a Christian, and then he started talking and showing the Bible later on and going to church. Oh, all of a sudden they're against him. Oh no, he's not one of us. Who's one of us? Who's us? These are extreme leftist people. People call them liberals. They're more. Some of them are outright communists. They're anti-American. They're selfish. They're just in it for money. They're greedy. They're corrupt. He went in there to break up the system. That's what we sent him for. That's why we voted for him. He wasn't one of them. He was a businessman apart from them. He was not a politician. He was not part of that. And that's why they don't want him, folks, because he does what most people that work and pay taxes want. These people are doing all kinds of stuff. They do the normal stuff they do, and he's not that. He can't be bought, folks. He doesn't need their money. He has his own money. You can't buy him. All these other people go into office, get richer and richer and richer because behind the scenes they have inside information and they're using their office to get rich. He actually lost money when he became president. He lost money. He lost millions because he wasn't in it for the money. He's in it to help America, to help the people. He wants to give back, and he wasn't in the military. He was a military cadet. He had those seeds planted about patriotism, and his father worked hard, and he learned working under his father, and he has a work ethic. And any large conglomerate of business like he owns around the world, people will always say there's this wrong, there's that wrong. And folks, in the larger scope of things, look, they haven't been able to, day and night, for the last 6 years, they've been trying to pin this on him, that on him, tried to impeach him twice with lies. That's what they were, folks. They were lies, made up stuff, great exaggerations. That's what's happening now. It's the same thing, but the people who are on the left, the people who want these people on the left, usually it's for social. They want abortion, so they don't want him. They want to go ahead and kill babies that are innocent. And how can you be a Christian and be for abortion? How can you be a Christian and be for a political candidate or party that wants to kill children and who are innocent? If you got a dog in the street and I started cutting his head off in public, oh, there'd be an outcry. But you do that to a child in the womb and suck his brains out, with chemicals and vacuum, oh, that's okay. No, we can't be desensitized to that. Murder is murder. God will judge us for what we've done. Doctors will be held accountable. And if you've had an abortion, if you've a guy you helped pay for one, you need to repent. You need to seek God's forgiveness, and He can't forgive you. Well, we need to get our priorities right. The morality of this country is going down more and more. We need to stand fast and hold it, and keep our borders and keep our sovereignty. And Trump is a nationalist, and that's what we need. I mentioned this in a previous video I did, and one of them got banned on YouTube, and I got warned that I'd be taken off. Well, take me off then, but I'll find another way. But I'm not going to shut up. So I'll leave you guys with that. And I went more than I thought I would. So God bless, and see what happens next time. Bye.